Hello, and welcome to Sponge Stories, the podcast for face painters by face painters. I'm Siobhan, the face behind Theatrics Faces, and I'm on a mission to lift the lid on what it really takes to build a face painting business, the good, the messy, and everything in between. Each episode, I'll be chatting to artists, industry experts, and real working face painters about the things that we don't always talk about. Pricing struggles, burnout, confidence, boundaries, growth, and how to actually make this job work for your life. So whether you're painting your first full face or juggling a fully booked diary this year, you're in the right place. Let's get straight into today's episode. So, hello and welcome to this episode of Sponge Stories. Today I am welcoming Jade from Party with Jelly Jade. Jade, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's all right. Thank you for having me.
I feel like your business is a little bit different to lots of the guests that we've had before because you're not just doing amazing face painting, you actually create sort of entire party experiences. So I'm really excited to find out how that all came about and how you got started.
Yeah, I mean, it actually started with face painting, but I think subconsciously the entertainment side of things was always there, but it came from, I worked with children in a nursery setting and primary school, and then I fell pregnant with my second son and didn't want to go back to working for anybody else. So I was like, well, I've got experience of working with children. Why don't I just face paint? And I used to work at McDonald's like when I left school. And back in those days, you had like tweenies parties. I don't know if you remember the tweenies. And they would put
Oh
me
my
in charge.
God.
Yeah,
Blast
well,
from the
throwback.
past. I've not
And they
thought
would
about the
put
tweenies
me,
for
I
years.
know, and they would put me in charge of the McDonald's kids parties there. And I remember having like a classic face paint book with your Batmans, your clowns, your cats, real sort of basic beginner designs. And I would just copy it from the book. And so I remember doing that at McDonald's and thought, all right, let's go back to doing that. It wasn't that hard. Like it's going to be really easy. And yeah, some of my, as a lot of people, your first designs, I've still got them because I like to see how far I come. And I just painted this poor boy with this massive Batman with just really thick black paint across his face. It was really bad. Snazaroo, I used Snazaroo, of course. But I was just like, I love doing this. This is creative. I'm working with kids and I'm bringing my artistic skills back. So face painting was the thing that brought me back into the party industry.
So you started doing this in 2012, I think I read. Did
Yeah.
some deep diving on your website.
Well done.
What services were you offering to begin with then? It was just the face painting.
I mean, I remember the first party I ever did was a month after I'd had my son, which I don't know what I was thinking because like
I'm looking at you like, are you mad?
yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but actually I think I actually started with the entertainment in that sense. So there was a mum at my other son's school and she was like, I'm going to host a party and Jade, you'd be really good at that because you've worked with the kids in the nursery here. And Dean, my husband, was DJing and I was like, all right, well, if he puts up the DJing stuff, I'll grab the mic and I'll do some party games. And actually that might help me see if I'm any good. So I did that first party and it went really well, apart from I was just some woman dressed in yellow. I don't know why I was wearing yellow, who wasn't actually using the microphone to engage with the kids. And I was just winging it. There was no skill behind it. And the parents were really happy and they've got it all on video and they still like talk about it, but for the right reasons. But I just wasn't very good. But I don't think anybody is when they first start, I suppose. I don't know. I was just useless. But I really enjoyed myself. And I actually went back to face painting after that. And I was face painting in a local school, one after the other, charging £1 per face. Let's get them out. I had a friend with me and she was doing similar. So I was like, oh, look, I built my team of people. It was so cringe. And it kind of just went from there, really. I was just taking on all the jobs that I suppose professional people wouldn't take. You know, doing a lot of things for free and winging it and using Snazaroo and having no skill base at all for about 6 months. But then I was like, I really enjoy face painting. Let's see if there's any training schools out there. And I did go and train and up to an intermediate level for face painting so that I could progress and improve. And I realized after also doing like some research that the face paint world was so much, well, actually, it was probably at the beginning of growing because it's mega now. But in 2012, there was like maybe one or two professional face painters in my area, and there wasn't really much out there. There was one strokes and things like that, and your brushes and stuff, but it wasn't like there wasn't much choice. So you had like a choice of five instead of 105. So I kind of got into the industry quite at the baby stages. I
Was so when you decided to then go from just the face painting and the slight dabble in the entertaining, when did you sort of decide to create the one-stop shop that you do now? Because you do loads now. I was looking at your party packages and I was like, wow. You'd literally, as a parent, you would go onto your website and then I'm assuming this was your plan, right? You go onto a website and you're like, right, that's that package, and then that
that's
is
it.
me done. Don't need to do
Yay!
anything else. It was great. It's great.
Yeah.
I was looking at it like, that's exactly what you wanna do as a parent.
Oh, that's good to hear because obviously parents don't tell you that. But what parents do at the moment, I mean, they might call or email and be like, I want all my packages have got different names. And they might be like, I want the crowd pleaser, take my money. And I'm like, brilliant. They've done
Mhm.
their research. They've been on my website. At the beginning stages, no, I didn't know what on earth I wanted to do. I just knew I came from a background of obviously working with children. But the only entertainment I had, my dad was a DJ, a very well known one in his industry all over the UK. So I would follow him around as a kid and he would go and do people's discos. You were allowed to take kids into nightclubs back then. So I'd go to nightclubs with him and I know, he would do like afternoon discos for the kids and then I'd stay and then the adults would be there. And yeah, that was interesting. And then we would go on holiday to Ibiza every single year since I was like 3 years old. And they would have your classic entertainment, your mini discos, your hokey cokies, your agadoos. I would always volunteer to go up on stage and I don't know, be part of the animation team and the entertainment team, and just I was one of those kids. But my mum never really tapped into my what I think is my skill set and take me to drama or dance school. I think I would have absolutely loved it and nailed it, but she just never did it. So I just tapped into that and I was like, well, I love mini discos. I want to do that for the kids. I want to make it so it's like a holiday entertainment show, a bit like Butlins, but for kids' parties. So
Mm.
I was kind of just doing what I knew, and that was like your traditional birthday party games, your bumps, your statues, some made up games, whatever worked. And after about 2 years of doing that, I was just like, I need to learn something. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I want to come across as professional and not just another entertainer or not just another face painter, or starting to learn about the business side of things. And, Facebook and social media was really great back then for stuff like that. And I did find an entertainment like training, I suppose. There were so many different parts on there. You could learn a bit of magic, you could learn a bit of face painting, balloon modeling. I did do a very basic balloon modeling course in my local area, so I learned how to make a dog and a flower and a hat, so I could start adding all that. And it was just from there, sort of dropping things, adding things, knowing what would work, what wouldn't work, up until about, I want to say 2016, 17, when I realized, oh, your show don't offer I know I offer a lot, but don't offer everything, but offer some things. So I kind of
Mm.
just picked the things that would work with children, work for the parents, without overwhelming them, and still do the job. Nutshell, really. Sound like I've been winging the whole thing in 13 years and I got away
In
with
a way,
it.
we
Don't tell
all do,
anyone.
though. No, I
Yeah,
think that's it. I think from the outside, you look and you think everyone else is smashing it, and then it all comes naturally. But I think what I'm learning is that we're all just giving it a go and then stopping doing that bit because that did not work. So we'll try something else instead. And
exactly.
yeah. So do you think offering multiple services, like because you do your magic and your balloon modeling, face painting, and then the party games and everything, do you think that that's made your business stronger? It puts you in a different lane to only offering the face painting, I suppose, then?
Yeah, originally I would bang on about how I was the only face painter and entertainer in one in the local area. I've stopped doing that now because that's not my USP. But I did that because I thought at the time it made me look stronger. And obviously on Facebook, a lot of people were asking for recommendations, and there'd be quite a few parents that would be like, I'm looking for this, and this. And I ticked like 4 out of the 5 boxes. So I was ultimately trying to show them that I was saving them money by having the same person do all of it. Nowadays, they don't seem to ask for all the stuff, or if they do, they've already got it from separate people. And it wasn't really I do still offer like a package of an hour of entertainment, an hour of face painting, but the last 2 years, that one hasn't gained as much traction as it used to. So it's just about like tapping into what parents are asking and then adapting my packages to that, rather than saying you have to have this is what you want, because I'm finding that I was going to sort of stop face painting, which I'm quite sad about. I'm still holding on with it. But I think it's because I'm more known. Well, I'm known for entertainment predominantly, but anyone new that finds me aren't looking for me as a separate face painter. I've
Mm,
probably had one in the last 3 weeks that asked me for face painting alone. That's it. Whereas it used to be all the time. So
mm,
for me, it used to make me look, strong, make my business stronger. And but if you're not adapting, then you're just sort of losing parents, and they're not understanding what it is you do. And I could have gone the other way and actually dropped the entertainment side of things and just built up this whole face paint world. But I found that the entertainment side for me works all year. I know face painting works all year round, but the entertainment worked all year round for
mm.
me specifically. It was probably more money as well from a business side of things, and parents were asking me to entertain and not face paint. Occasionally they'll drop it in and say, can you add face paint onto that? And obviously depending on how many kids they've got, I would either say yes or no, but it's still there. It's just I'm not as known for it as much these days.
So if you had to pick one, which one would you pick if you had to? It's like asking to choose a favourite child.
Or a little bit, well, like I would choose entertainment from a business point of
Mm,
view, but face paint, because I offer them an experience. So it's not just sit in the chair, paint next one, sit in the chair, paint next one. I kind of use my entertainment skills as a face painter I know obviously if there's a queue, you're in a hurry and you've got to paint really fast. But I try and give them the Jelly Jade experience by sitting them in the chair and making it a whole thing. You are my, you've got my full attention for the next 4 to 5 minutes or less. And you can be whatever you want to be. And I don't want to hear from mum. You, the child, are
mm,
here to enjoy face painting, because if I can make it, especially if it's your first time, if I can make it a truly wonderful experience for you, this stranger painting all up in your face and it's cold and it's weird and it tickles. Like I want kids to enjoy it so that when they go to the next face painter, they know what to expect and stuff. So I think I would choose entertainment every time, but there is something about that personal one-to-one face-to-face thing where I would miss it if I dropped that. I love who's next and look what you're wearing and look what you're choosing and asking them their favorite colors. And it's a whole thing. Whereas when you're entertaining loads of kids, you don't always get to have time to sit and have those conversations, even though it's only in a short amount of time.
mm.
Yeah.
Where did the name Jelly Jade come from?
Oh, it's not really exciting actually. When I was researching names, obviously my real name is Jade, but my original business name was called Face the Fun, because it was from face painting and it was fun. But I was building up a personal brand, and when I was doing my research, I noticed other entertainers had a food element and their name, and I was like, but I want the food element to represent parties. So I was just like, oh, and I like alliteration. So I was like, it's got to alliterate. Jammy Jade was a bit weird. So I was just thinking I know. So I was just thinking about jelly and ice cream. So I was like, Jelly Jade works, and I can't sort of let it go. If I could change it, I would, but I can't now. It's too late. I don't know what I would change it to,
I
but
like it. No one
yeah,
else
thank
no one
you.
else got anything like that. So
No,
and it's way better than
there's a
Jammy Jade. Like that
Jammy
just like a
Jade.
jammy little kit, doesn't it? That's what it makes you think of.
I mean, I don't think I'd get many bookings from that. There is a Jelly Kelly. There's a Jelly Kelly, and I know her, and she's great. But I was like, well, what else would go with Kelly than jelly? So that works. But yeah,
Yeah,
Jelly
fair
Jade,
play.
and it makes the kids laugh, and I make some jokes about being smelly jelly and all that, and it's just stuck. So yeah.
So you've probably entertained like hundreds, thousands of children since 2012, right? That's like
Ugh.
14 years entertaining kids. What would you say what have the children taught you?
Oh, wow. They have taught me that it's okay to be silly as a grown up. The world's really serious. And in those, say, 2 hours that I've got them, they've taught me that it's okay to express yourself, be silly, laugh, at the grown ups. I kind of make it so that the children are laughing at me and with me at the same time. And
Mm.
that gives them permission to do whatever they want in that space. I always say we're not at school, I'm not a teacher. I get a lot of them call me miss, which is fine because they're being respectful. But I say to them, I'm not a teacher. We're here to be silly, we're here to have fun. And they've taught me to do that and to just to have the freedom to, yeah, just to be yourself. And I do take that outside with me when I'm not at a party too, because who said that we had to grow up just because we're a certain age? And in certain spaces I don't belong in them because I still dress as an entertainer when I'm not working. I still dress as a CBeebies kids presenter. But I'm okay with that because the kids are okay with that. That's all I care
Mm.
about. Of course, there is like my customer service with parents and stuff, but I just think it's all about the children and just giving them, yeah, that freedom to do whatever the hell they want in that moment. And they've taught me to do the same, which is quite sweet.
Suppose in a way, being a children's entertainer in that sort of interactive manner as well, you're one of their first experiences of live comedy. So it's very
Yeah,
catered to them. But obviously before, I'm trying to think, so if your children's parties are normally like a bunch of 5 and 6 year olds because it's that reception age, and they won't have seen any sort of like live comedy before then because they're probably only just getting to the point where you want to start taking them to a pantomime or first introduction to live theatre almost. I know for
yeah,
my kids, it was the first time when they first saw a magician was at a birthday
yeah.
party and they sat. They'd not done that before because, of course, they were too little. Quite an important first experience you give them, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's something about the age appropriateness of it as well, and I tried to get this across with parents because I know, and I done it myself too, that the minute you have a baby, you wanna do all the things, you wanna, take them to all the things, all the shows, and I get, a few people someone the other day tagged me for a toddler party, and I could do it, but I won't do it, and that's
Mm,
because I just they parents just need to wait a minute. When they go to primary school, they are taught to sit, be quiet, line up. Their attention span starts to get a bit longer. If they're under that age and I'm trying to sit with them and do a magic show, they are going to get up and they're going to wander off. They won't last that long. I think the shows are probably like maybe 45 minutes. And even then, that's a really long time. So there's something about the age appropriateness of showing them a live performer like myself or a circus act or a magician
mm,
where they actually get it and that's shown through their laughter and through their amazement and their, how did you do that? And you can only get that reaction at a certain age and not
mm.
any less. And also there is a limit to it as well because at the age of 8 plus, they're already telling me how it's done as well. So it's
Yeah.
just trying to find the right balance and the right entertainer that's got the right tools of the trade, I suppose.
The experience working with the children of different ages. I mean, even just doing the face painting, I had a boy come over that his little sister was getting painted, and his mum was like, "Oh, go on," because he was like 9 or 10, and he was like, "I don't want to." And I was thinking, he does want to. She knows he wants to, but he's in that age of like, no, it's not cool. So, but luckily, because it's the World Cup, I was like, "Well, if you want, I could do
Yeah,
like some cool World Cup thing on your arm." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, actually, that would be quite cool." And he had it,
that
and I knew
always
he
gets
wanted
them.
to.
Yeah,
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 and he's
that's
just
how I
about
get the
in
boys.
between
It's
the age
boys.
where
Yeah,
yeah, where they don't wanna feel like a baby, but they are still a kid, so it's having that
yeah,
experience to sort
yeah,
of handle those in between stages, I suppose, and you don't get
yeah,
that unless you've worked with
exactly.
kids for 14, 15 years like you have.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are still like moments of this isn't working. And it could be down to a number of things. It could be just not the right entertainer or face painter for that booking and not everyone's going to gel. I don't know. It could be weather. It could be illness. Like I got a 2-star review a few weeks ago, which was my first one, and it took me aback. I had a cold and I'd already done a party that morning and they gave me a 5-star review, which was amazing. And then this other party, it just it didn't work. And when I look back, okay, yeah, I can put it down to I was exhausted because I had a cold and whatever you want to put it down to, but I still tried to push through. But I think if I'm going to be really honest, I just don't think I gelled with the children. And there was only like
Yeah.
5 of them. And without passing blame onto the customer, I don't think she picked the right booking. And, although I tried to advise everybody on the right package, and if you've only got a certain amount of
Mhm.
children, you don't really need me to. There was a lot of things that didn't make it go as good as it should have done, or gave the best job that I should have given. So it does happen. It's very, very rare. Like I still get like amazing 2-star, 5-star reviews, but I can't. I'm in a really good position where I can pick and choose. So
Yeah.
I don't take every booking that comes in because they're not all for me, and I'll send them elsewhere because it is at the end of the day. Well, it's got to be good for my business too, but I want them to have a really good experience and a really good party. And if someone's looking for a magician only, I'm not for them because I'm not a
Mm.
magician. I include magic in my show, but it's not. It's only silly magic, astounding wow magic. It's how you perform it. So it's quite basic magic, but it's the
Mm.
the delivery of it. And if someone's expecting, yeah, like card tricks and things like that, I'll send them elsewhere and just be like, no, not for me, sorry. Because it's all about them at the end of the day.
Yeah. How do you hold the attention of 30 excited 6-year-olds?
That's a really good question. Possible ADHD can put it down to that because I'm just as hyper as them. I get down to their level. I tap into what I can see on the outside in terms of, if they're all 36-year-old boys, and I have got boys, so I know what they like and don't like, I will try and quickly be like, do you support a football team? Because I'll banter with you about who I support. If you're wearing a Minecraft t-shirt, I'll be like, oh, what have you built this week? But when you've got 30 of them and they're all
Mm.
running around screaming in a hall, it's about setting expectations and setting boundaries. Yes, get down to their level, but let them know what's going to happen. A bit of underlying bribery, perhaps. Do you want to win a prize? You can only win a prize if you take part, and that tends to work. Yeah. So if a parent wants to book me for 36-year-olds, I will always make them aware that I can't please everybody. So if 1 to 2 kids are at the back of the hall playing with a balloon, which can happen sometimes, it's not a reflection on me or the parent. It's just timing, that environment. They're really not interested. But there'll always be something that will bring them in. So it could be Pass the Parcel normally gets everybody sat down and they flock to me. Sometimes Limbo because the kids see that, I don't know, it's structured and they know what to do and they want to show off how they get under the the limbo stick. And sometimes Magic. And sometimes if they've had something to eat and drink, they can then sit down and relax and watch a magic show and then get up and do their thing. So to me, it comes naturally to engage with a room of, in fact, I always say the more kids you have, the better, that I thrive. There's more kids to bounce off of, their personalities. And if a group are over here doing their own thing but still joining in, but everyone else is also dancing and everyone's doing, you're not going to notice that there's,
But you
unengagement from somewhere.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you're always gonna get a few kids that that's just not their bag. They
Yeah.
don't want to sit still. They don't maybe want to join in. They wanna just float around to the back, and I think as long as
Yeah.
they're not being disruptive, because my little girl had her 5th birthday party at the start of the year, and we had an entertainer booked, and when she turned up, she was like, "Oh, could we put all of the balloons away because otherwise the children won't join in and stuff," and I was like, "I know, but sometimes they're just not gonna join in." I don't
Yeah,
care. I'm still delighted that you're here. Do I expect them all to sit beautifully for you for the best part of an hour? No, of course I don't. They're children. They're 5. If you get 10 of them to sit still, I'll be thrilled. But I don't think it's bad on you. And she was like, but if they don't, and I just thought, I'm chill. I'm in this game. I know what it's
excellent.
like.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, just you do you. They'll join in or they don't. You'll still get
yeah.
paid. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, well,
I think
yeah,
it's
my
worse
husband
like when I've been to parties with my kids before, and the entertainers have got so stressed trying to get them to sit down and getting quite cross with the children. And I'm like, you need to just let them be kids. Just leave them be.
That's the key actually, is not to I'm not there to tell anyone off. The only time I will tell a child off is if they are hitting me, which seems to be a new thing at the moment. And then once one kid, I don't know what it is. I don't, maybe it's my
I'm like,
aura, but
excuse?
they'll come in and they'll just smack me for no reason. But I would always say, no, don't do that. It hurts. Right. So that they know. But I think as a collective of entertainers, loose balloons and bouncy castles are two of our bugbears. I'm just going to put it out there. However, loose balloons, I only don't like them because parents blow them up too much and they start popping even if you're not near them. So I start jumping, the kids are jumping, the kids turn around and then they're not looking at me, right? So that's the only reason for me why I don't say loose balloons. And bouncy castles are a whole different situation. But at the end of the day, if you're an experienced and good entertainer, you can just make it work. And actually, sometimes I'll play a game with the loose balloons, or if I do see two children bounce them across, as long as not all the kids are like picking the balloons up and hitting each other with them, whatever, and then it gets a bit like crazy. I'm just like, do what you want. If that's your also your crux, like your comfort to
Mm,
hold a balloon so that you sit everyone, because sometimes children need their whatever it is, a comfort blanket or their
yeah.
teddy bear or a doll, or and they've got a balloon to hold that will make them join in. Then bring it and blow those balloons up, just not too.
Do you know what? I was at an event last week and there was a balloon modeling lady in the literally like in the next gazebo to us. And I don't know if it was the weather, because you know balloons can pop when it gets really hot,
Yeah,
can't they? Because they
yeah.
change or whatever.
She doesn't
Anyway,
like the heat.
every 10 minutes these balloons, and the pop was so loud, it's like a gunshot going off. At one point, me and the child, we
Yeah.
both nearly fell off our chair. I was literally like this, like, "Oh, come on now," and I'm jumpy at the best of times, but this was silly, and, like, all the kids were crying because the balloons were banging so
Yeah,
loud.
yeah. The fear of balloons, like you're gonna give them a fear of balloons. So I try not
Mm,
to. I will always pre-warn them when I'm blowing up balloons, especially in the garden. I'd always say, everyone sit back, because they get really excited, so they come close. And I always say, look, if you don't like balloons popping, move back. I can't guarantee it won't, but I'm gonna try my best not to. But one the other day did pop in a child's face, and I was just like, oh, for God's sake, because she jumped up at the wrong moment. And then they obviously put their hands on their ears. But there's nothing much you can do about that, except yeah, don't blow them up too much and let the loose air out, which is what I do. And you can still make what you need to, and
yeah,
just
yeah.
pre-warn them that they might put. I always ask if there's anyone scared of balloons, and I'll have a backup plan for that. Yeah, it's a tricky one, but I think, like, going back to your question about offering like a lot of different activities, like, helps knowing what some kids like, what some kids don't, and lots of kids might prefer the balloons to the magic show and vice versa, or take part in the games, but then just wanna sit on their parents' lap another time, and so that it gives them a choice. You've got choices without, like I say, being too overwhelming, and then I've got choice as well,
Mm.
because if something's not working, I will change it up and switch and be like, "Okay, they're really not interested in that. Let's do the next thing. Let's do the next thing." So I've also got enough to be like, instead of standing there going, "I don't know what else to do with these children," I could be like, "Let's try this, let's try that," and just tap into them and see how it works. It's a tricky thing.
Have you found that parties have changed over the last decade?
Yes and no. So they've changed lots of different ways, actually. In a sense of mascots, Frozen came out when about 3 years into me doing this, so you started to get obviously more character performances. We've got K-pop Demon Hunters, which is the current one. But what would happen in the industry is you'd get new people coming in thinking they can do that, and that's absolutely fine. There's some amazing ones. But they don't know how to engage the kids. So they'll stand, they'll sing, and then they'll go. And then I've been left to pick up the pieces, which is a bit awkward. On the other side of that, traditional birthday parties haven't changed. They've just modernized. So when I first came into this, I was like, your classic, your party games, your magician, yeah, maybe make a balloon dog. Like, they were the main things. And I still do those things. So I was in the beginning like doing, oh, let's bring in some new up to date party games, whatever they may look like. And they could be anything. And you can buy products now that help with that. There's one at the moment where you step into like trousers and they've got a big wire on them, and then you can chuck like balloons inside them. Like, it looks fun. It looks amazing. Maybe I'll give it a go, but I don't know how the kids are going to be like with that and if it's going to cause mayhem. But there are things out there that are new and traditional, sorry, modern, and you can add them to your show. But I just think if traditional has always worked, why not still do them? If it's not broke, does it? And that's what I've been doing.
Do you think the budget for children's parties has increased? I know we're in like a cost of living crisis and all of that at the moment, but I feel like when I was growing up and my memories of kids' parties was like just some like sandwiches that and it probably wasn't my mum. Thank God my mum doesn't listen to this because my mum will be like, oh, hell no. But I
Brilliant.
just think, like, I don't remember them being as bougie as they are now, and I don't know if it's maybe the area I live in, but, I mean, each time I've done a party for mine, I don't even feel like we've really gone all out or anything in comparison to some of the ones we go to, but it's still, like, nearly comes to about 1,000 by the time you've added in
Oh,
party
yes, I know.
bags,
Yeah,
entertainment, food,
yeah,
all the other stuff that you stick on the walls, the venue hire,
yeah.
the invites, if you added it all up, it's disgusting. I mean, like and like I said, our ones are I like to think they're good, but we've been to some real bougie ones as well, and
Yeah.
I think, "My God, this must have cost as much as a wedding."
Yeah, I've seen some incredible ones where, especially for a one-year-old party where I've walked in and I've gone, "This is so not necessary."
They are not gonna
So
remember
not
this.
necessary. Also, the bugbear with that is when they spent all that money on all of that, and then I was a last minute call and they've asked me to drop my price. And I've gone, whoa, whoa, whoa. So clearly the decor meant more to you than look, each to their own. I will do anything. Like the
Mm.
party I did at one of the parties I did at the weekend, it was they were celebrating their daughter's half birthday because her daughter was born on New Year's Day. So they were like, it's her half birthday. And we did joke about this, and the mum won't mind me saying she bought fairy cakes, so like cupcakes, but with no icing on, and she just stuck a sign on it that said her daughter's name with a half birthday, and we laughed because I was just like, she was like, "You must think I am like being really cheap." I was like, "No, I love this. The kids don't care. They must have cost you like 50 pence each or a pound each, and away you go. The kids get fairy cakes." I was like, "I don't care." And then at the weekend coming, I've got an influencer that I'm doing. I won't mention any names, and I know I'm gonna walk into something absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it is subjective, each to their own, and I wouldn't say I'm cheap either. Like, I know I'm not a necessity, and hence why I probably get into my head about raising my prices and stuff. But actually, I'm more fully booked this month or this year than any other time because I think people realise that having an entertainer that does it all, you don't really need to worry about everything else, and then you can scrimp on whatever. You can go to
100%.
Aldi and get some banners, and
That's
the
exact
kids
you know
don't
what?
care.
That's what I've
Yeah.
done. That's what I've done for all my kids' birthday is we've spent the biggest chunk of money on the entertainer. I think my son wanted a magician. My daughter wanted she couldn't just have one princess, could she? She had to have 3.
Oh
So
my
that was
god.
big. I know, because she couldn't decide, and I just thought,
Yeah.
"Fine, if that's what you want, that's what you want." And then an entertainer for my 3rd child, and then around that, I've always done, like, an Amazon order for the cupcake boxes,
Yeah.
just got the cheap fairy cakes from
Yeah.
Sainsbury's. I'm not spending £400 on a wedding cake
No.
a birthday cake that's better than
But
my
it feels like that.
actual wedding cake.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
for my son's 5th birthday, I actually got, the polystyrene, like, dummy cakes and then iced them myself.
Yeah,
So we had it all out, but I just iced it myself. It was a fake
that's
cake.
brilliant. That's a
'Cause I
great tip.
Yeah, and then all of the fairy cakes were in their little boxes. The boxes cost like 10 quid for 50 boxes. Cheap fairy cakes, they were the party favours. Here's a box on your way out,
Yeah,
bye. Didn't have to cut the
done.
cake, didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the kids don't care. When you look back, like, I know my kids will never turn around and be like, because they're older now, but they would never be like, "Oh, I remember when you decked out the hall I mean, the only thing we did when one of my sons had a big party and I got one of my entertainer friends to do it and I did like the second half. We got someone to do a big balloon arch that the entertainer stood under. That was it. That was the decor. And the arch cost like at the time like 50 quid. I was like, that'll do. I don't need to decorate anything else. We're in a village hall, put a few tablecloths that are a pound over the table. We ordered pizza in, so I didn't have to wash anything up or waste
Yeah,
anything and
yeah,
just
we did
throw
that.
anything.
Big
That's
big bin
it.
bag at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
And I
great.
don't say to parents, "That's all you need so that you've got the budget to book me." That's not it at all. I'll say it to parents because I'm just trying to make them aware that the kids don't care. And no offense to parents that do it because it is wonderful to walk into a room like that. But that wonderfulness lasts 2 hours. Okay, maybe the parents will talk about you in the playground saying how amazing it was and da 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 da. But if that's your main goal and not making your children have a good time, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like each to their
Just
own, and I'm not judging anyone, but you don't need to when the kids are happy with just being entertained and making memories with their friends. That's all it is.
so for me, it's always like Teddy, my son, he always remembers the magician. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I remember the magician." Do
Yeah.
you know what he doesn't remember? The colour of the party plates or whether there was tablecloths.
Yes. Yeah.
He
That's
doesn't I can't
exactly
even
it.
remember. And same for my
No.
little girl. She's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, my princess birthday," because she had 3 princesses there. She doesn't remember I don't remember what we did for party plates or any of
I
that stuff
don't.
because but all of that is stuff that adds up and up and up, and it's just you
When
remember
you don't,
they
yeah.
remember the entertainer and the experience and
Yeah,
stuff, so
that's exactly it. When parents have come back to me or I've looked back, at the kids, their faces and their reactions, if they're not reacting, then I'm not doing a good job, and if they are reacting, they're going to remember that. And even some of my friends' parties that I've done, and they've messaged me, but it's great because they'll tell me the truth, and they've gone, "My son has gone to bed still wetting himself laughing about that thing you did in the magic show." And then another parent the other day said, "My daughter went into school the next day and has told everybody what you did, and they haven't shut up about it, and it's driving me mad, but in a good way." And I'm like, "Well, that's what you're going to remember. You're not going to go into school the next day and be like, oh
yeah.
yeah, my mum bought." Matching whatever it may be, and that it does play a part if people want to do that, but I just think social media and Pinterest and all these, yeah, bougie parties are for parents and other parents and not. And yes, it's nice for the kids, but then you start getting that you're teaching your children to judge it in an obvious way, if that makes sense. Now, I'm no like expert in that sense, and I'm not a perfect parent at all, but I think even if I had like all the money in the world, I still don't think I would have done a party like that for my kids. But I would have splurged on an entertainer or the best face painter or the best balloon modeler. Like, because I know that those services are going to make my party quality, not
Yeah.
the material
Well, do
stuff.
you know what? When you're 5 or 6, you could not give a fig if something was aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah,
The louder the colours, the more it clashes. For my daughter, the brighter the pink, the better. She that's just all they care about, and I think, do you
yeah,
know what? There's a time when they're older for them to worry about it all being matching and stuff.
yeah.
So,
I just really like, old fashioned. Like you can bring it into the modern age.
mm,
Old fashioned is the wrong word. Traditional birthday parties where you just sit, watch your magician, eat, and you go home. Like that's it, job
it's
done.
great.
Yeah.
I took the kids to the Black Country Museum just outside of Wolverhampton a few weeks ago when we were on holiday. And my son had to go with one of those, those like medieval, like ball and cup games?
Yeah. They
Like you
drive
have
me
to flick it,
bonkers.
it's like on
Yeah,
a
you've got to
string
catch
and
it.
yeah, and he had to go with one of those, and then he would not stop banging on about it. He wanted one from the gift shop. They didn't have any left in the gift shop. So then the rest of like the holiday, we were
Okay.
keeping an eye out for this traditional game. And I thought, who needs a Nintendo Switch, right? I was like, why don't you want to go on your tablet? Like, stop talking about this
Brilliant.
ball and cup. That's all he wanted because that's all kids really care
Wow.
about
That's
is
so
like
good.
something that's hundreds of years old and it still entertains just as much,
That's
right?
fantastic. That's
So
so good to hear, and I know we can't make every child enjoy the ball and cup game, but I think we just the generation I grew up in gave me mini discos, and I wanna pass that on to the next
mm.
generation and keep it going because, like I said earlier, it works. Why would you try to change it? Stop trying too hard, basically.
So when you're in entertainer mode then, and you've got the face painting bit, like, because you normally do your entertainment bit first and then the face painting at
Yeah.
the end, does that bit almost feel like a chance to slow down then? And you like you were saying earlier, you get that one-to-one connection with some of the children.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Back in the day where I was mixing, like I get a booking in the morning for a 2-hour show, knowing that in the afternoon I got a 2-hour face paint party, for instance. I knew that, okay, I might have 2 parties back to back and I'll be tired, but the face paint's gonna make me just, yeah, slow down. I don't have to put on a show. Like, I will still be obviously on it, like, switched on,
Mm.
but I don't have to perform as much. And I really enjoyed flitting between the 2. But then the next, like, on, say that was on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday, I knew I'd just do an hour party and maybe an hour of face painting, like, down the road to me. So I had that, like, that balance of doing, like, both. These days, obviously, it's not so much, but when I do get a booking for, yeah, 1 hour of entertainment, 1 hour of face painting, I know that I don't know, I still put as much effort in, of course I do. Yeah, I just take it easy and spend some time interacting with the children more, getting to know them more. You know, we've just done all this dancing and games and magic and stuff, and you've got your balloons, and I always say to parents, do the food whilst I'm face painting, so the kids have still got something to do. But I just, yeah, it just gives me a chance to actually be Jade rather than Jelly Jade. So I'm still got my costume on and stuff, but I get to be a bit more, you know, I can also tune into what parents are saying about me, because you know when you got a cue and you can hear and they're going, oh, this is
Mhm.
amazing, and how long have you been doing this? And you should be a tattoo artist. Like, if I hear that one more time, and but if they are saying that, then I know that I am still making face painting look easy. Like, I wouldn't
Mm.
say I'm the best face painter at all. I If I'm gonna be honest, I technically stopped at intermediate level and didn't carry on because the entertainment took over. I always think, as long as the parents still saying, "Oh, how long have you been doing this for?" And, "Oh, look at you, you did that really quick. How did you just paint her in 1 minute flat?" And it's like, if I'm still doing that, then I will still face paint, because I'm gauging what the parents want, and if it's still viable, and if I've given them a good experience. In a way, I get that time to listen rather than act a lot and be like, and then it's okay. Now we're just going to stop for some face painting. Obviously, it's still full on, but it's not. It's a different, like,
How
art
do you
form, isn't
balance the
it?
speed and the quality at the end of the party then? Do you cap it for the amount of people you can
Yeah,
paint?
yeah. So if they're going to book that package with entertainment and face painting, I say to them, look, give or take, I could probably paint 17 at my quickest in an hour, give or take 20. And then we're going to consider, like, if 2 or 3 don't want it, or they only want an arm design. 20 is a push though. But obviously the quality still has to be there. And I did know that, making a few mistakes going into it, being like, yeah, I'm having when you get those shocking face paint days where you're like, you've done the same design over and over again. But the next day, you've done it again, but they're all really rubbish, whatever it may be. I did start to do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm taking on too much for these, 2 services in one. So I do cap it. And then I don't have a design board, I have a word board. So there's no expectations in terms of what they're getting in case I have a bad paint day, but also they get to pick quicker from picture where it's sort of it's word designs with tiny little pictures on of a little unicorn in a big unicorn word. And I will because I've only got a select amount, I've probably got, yeah, maybe 10 girls, 10 boy designs, and a few other grown up ones and some festival glitter. Like, that's it. They'll It's not too, it's overwhelming, but it's not too overwhelming. But I know that if one person wants a unicorn, the next one probably will. Someone might throw a frozen design in there, and they're quick. So I'm still doing the same quality that I always give, but I know it's quick. I know where I'm putting it. I know where it's going. I don't have to sit and get my phone out and look at the design and go, I have no idea what you're talking about. Which I can do, but I'd rather not if I'm in a hurry. Maybe a 2 hour full on face paint, but not at you've got 1 hour to paint 15 to 20 kids. Keep it simple, chuck a bit of glitter on, which sounds like I'm rubbish, but I just think if you just stick to the same designs, which I do over and over
Mm.
again, I know it gets a little bit boring here and there, but it gives me the chance to maybe change it up with a different colour, or put the teardrops somewhere else, or put the starburst somewhere else, but I still know how to do starburst really quick or teardrops really
Mm.
quick. It's the same thing. And teardrops and starbursts will always make your design pop and look really good, even if you've had a bad
Well,
paint
if
day.
you're doing this at the end of a party or the second half of the party when you've already been entertaining, by having that sort of collection of designs that you can almost do on autopilot, you're not thinking about what you're painting. You're delivering
Yes.
quality, consistent paints, and then you're able to interact with the child instead of thinking and becoming
Yeah.
overwhelmed. Because I don't know that I could do that. I don't think I could entertain for a whole hour and then do the face painting. I genuinely think my social battery would be 0.
Really? That's really interesting because I think I'm just still in that mode of
Mm.
gotta keep them
I can do the
happy,
micro
and
interactions. I can do
yeah.
6 to 10 hours face painting. That's fine, but I don't think I could be performative and then switch gear.
Interesting.
I just don't think
Yeah.
I've got that skill set.
I think it just comes from lots of doing it. Again, the autopilot thing, but there was a period of time where I was doing that nonstop every weekend for years and years and years and years. So it's a bit like riding a bike, what they say, because I wasn't sure if I could still face paint after the pandemic. I had to buy a whole new kit, and I was like, "Oh, is it worth it? Do I still know what to do?" But you do. Once it's muscle memory. So once we've learnt those designs and you do them over and over again, and then keep up the energy levels and make them feel like a star after performing for an hour, I don't know. That could be an ADHD thing. It could just be experience. Because parents will always say to me, "How do you do it? How do you keep it up? How are you so hyper all the time?" And I'm just like, "Well, it's got to be, hasn't it? Because I must be like, I'm not superhuman. I must just be running on dopamine and the hyperfixation, because I do know that when I go home, I just drop
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah,
asleep.
yeah.
And even if I've got another party to get to, I'll try not to power down too much in the car. I'll eat, I'll drink, shove a load of sweets in my face, and then I'll go again. And and I'm okay with that. I've never been like, "Oh my God, I can't do this." I'm like, "Yay, let's go again. Woo." I am that person that's a bit woo. And then but then I know that when I go home, that is my downtime and I don't have to perform for my kids or my husband or whatever. Like, they fully know that I've given all my energy to
Mm.
these parties and these children, and then that's it. I will recharge my batteries for tomorrow.
Do you have a
Still.
favourite design that you always love painting?
Yeah, probably like a crown, because that satisfaction of swiping the one stroke and seeing it come to life, and the focal points of it sitting, that to me really gives me a lot of satisfaction. Um and if I can master butterflies, because I have mastered butterflies, but there's so many different variations and so many ways of doing it, so many colours and all sorts of things with it. If I could just get to a point where I'm really happy with my butterflies, I think I'd really like them and I'd encourage kids to have them. But every time I do one, I don't know, I think I just change it too much every time and change different colours, and I don't know. So it would be butterflies, but yeah, it's princess crowns because you can do so much. And I'm really good at my teardrops and my starbursts. And I just love it when parents go,
Mm.
"Ooh," and makes it pop. And I quite like Spider-Man too, because it's quite simple and quick, yet effective
Yeah.
when it comes to life. So yeah, they're probably really obvious choices actually, but
I
I
always
do
feel like
like doing
Spider-Man gives the biggest reaction as well.
yeah,
I always think they
and they
always go,
become them.
"Whoa!"
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they are them. I think crowns are tricky if you have got a word board like me and they're expecting a princess. Like they'll go, "I'll have a frozen crown or a princess crown," and they've got something in their mind and it doesn't look like that when you
Mm.
show it to them, which I completely get. So I again try and set expectations to be like, "Wow, I'm just letting you know it's going to be a crown in princess colours that you've asked for," and I could go with the what do you call it? My God, stencil, and do a princess crown like that. But I'm not a massive fan of stencils. I like to do freehand because I think it makes me look good.
I'm not a massive fan of stencils purely because I don't have the patience. The only way I can get them to work is with the star blends. I've said this before because
Right.
it's the
Okay.
quickest. So I've
Yeah.
got probably 5 stencils that I use, and I use them with the dry powder because I just don't have the time or the
Oh,
patience to
interesting.
master the knack of the right consistency so it doesn't bleed underneath.
Wow. Which I get.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do what works for you. I love when I do,
yeah,
like if I do a football, I know I've got the right consistency. Then when you take it off,
yeah,
it
yeah,
gets a wow, because I think people are gonna think that it's too watery and it's gonna smudge, but I go, "No,
mm,
no, no," like but that
yeah,
it comes with practice. I'm not saying it's great every time. So you
yeah.
just use the right tools that gonna work for you. And again,
Yeah.
like
I've
parents don't
whacked out
know.
so many footballs, just like star blends, like, yeah, look at me, consistent every time. And then I can focus on the flames and the this and the that
Yes.
without worrying about messing up the whole football. I mean, for
Yeah.
ages, I freehanded the footballs. I
Oh,
spent ages
wow.
freehanding them, and I can do it really well. But then I was like,
Oh,
Siobhan, why are you spending 2 or 3 minutes freehanding a football? Just
well, I
get a
remember doing that
stencil.
with
This
Batman,
is a
colouring it in,
this is a
just
yeah.
like there's tools out there to help.
I know. Why am I making my life more difficult?
Yeah. Exactly.
I
There
was
is
like,
something
time
for
with money, get
everything.
a stencil.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do still use stencils. It's yeah, so football, I definitely don't do that freehand. But we have got to a point as well where the boys will ask me for football badges, so that gets a little bit
Mm.
tricky because it's freehand and I haven't got enough time and, Arsenal and Spurs I could probably do. Manchester United started to get a bit tricky, and then when they start asking for, like, Barcelona and things like that, I'm just like, "I'll do the colours on the flames, but I haven't got time for the ba." There's a limit, and in my head, like, my first reaction is, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
like
Yeah, I
to
love
be
a challenge.
challenged."
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god, no, don't do it. Learn from us.
So I wanted to touch on your sort of like the business side of things and your branding because you've got really, really clear branding. So when I was looking at your website, your tagline is "Tamer of Party Chaos," and I loved that because it
Yeah.
sort of instantly tells parents exactly what you do. Like
Excellent.
it was just great because it just gives you that sense of, oh, okay, she's going to deal with all of
Yeah.
that. Which, as a
Yeah.
parent myself, is exactly what I was looking for. Like, I think the package that I booked for my daughter's party was called the hands off package because I was like, yep, that's
Wow.
what I want. I want a hands off.
Perfect.
Yeah, here you go. Take my
Yeah.
money, deal with all the
Yeah.
children.
I mean, it's you've gotta live up to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If I'd have put that on there, like, when I first started out, I would have been just like, "I'm lying." Like, I'm just saying it for the sake of it. But now I am so confident, which I probably shouldn't say out loud, but I am. I'm really confident in handling as many children as possible in the room at a party
Mm.
because I've been doing it for, well, yeah, over a decade, which is scary. And if I can't, I was going to put on there, if I can't, money back guaranteed. But then I was just like, oh, there's so many people that try it on that I didn't want to
Mm.
put that much, yeah, on there like that. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't give money back, but I'm that good that I feel that I could if I don't, basically.
Were
It's a
you
tricky
quite
one.
intentional then about creating like a recognizable brand with the Jelly Jade and the tagline and because your branding's great as well? Was that
Thank
an
you.
intentional
Yeah, it was when
decision?
I started to learn what a business entailed. It was about 2 years in before I realized what branding was and marketing and all that, and I went on a lot of courses about all of that, to a point where I actually became a digital marketer because my business had taken off so well when I understood about branding and marketing. So it definitely helped me, but the intention was to build a personal brand. So I never wanted to have a team because I'm a bit controlling and in a sense of my business. And I don't think anyone else could. Other people can do what I do. Of course they can, but they're not me. So I wanted to play on my skills, my personality, and I want to say becoming friends with my customers.
Mm.
Like that's what's happened, but that was also a goal. But when I say friends, a lot of them have become actually friends, but I just mean someone that a parent could relate to and vice versa, so that we're on the same page because we want the same thing. And I think that's really important when it comes to someone else's kids as well. So there's got to be trust there, and there's got to be somebody that you can relate to. They don't necessarily have to be a mum. I am a mum, but if I wasn't, you can still do the job you do, but you have I think you've just got to know how kids work. And then because I worked
Mm.
in a school and a nursery, I think that really plays in my favour, because a lot of entertainers and face painters, or entertainers in particular, come from like a drama background, dance schools, and that's absolutely brilliant because they've got that performance. Whereas I'm the opposite. I've got the skill of working with kids, but don't necessarily have the drama background. So I think if you can find a balance with both, then you've really got it. So because I didn't have the drama background, which parents might look for in the performance, I really had to tap into my personality and what made
Mm.
me me, and the Jelly Jade brand and what she stands for and what she wants to give to kids, and how she wants to make them feel, and parents too. And because of that, I get a lot of repeat customers actually, which
Mm.
we're always chasing for that new customer and new followers and new people to come into our world. But actually the repeat customers are where it's at. Like,
Yeah.
they are becoming I suppose your family, but not your family. They know what they're getting. Their children feel safe with you. They don't have to worry. It all taps back into that stress-free, hassle-free, hands-off scenario. And so I just played on that big time. And I don't do it as much, but it's still there, as you've seen, like that
Yeah.
you pointed out. So that really validates me, because it means from someone who's your first impression, I'm like, okay, I'm still on the right page. I'm still relevant. I'm still, because it's easy to just to go, oh, I've done it all now. That'll do. But you've kind of got to keep tapping into it to get the message across,
Yeah.
because yeah.
And I think it's remembering as well that the children are your client or your customer. So obviously you're going to give them a good experience, whether that be face painting or entertaining. But whenever I turn up a party, 90% of the time I found that it's the mums that are looking particularly flapped and flustered.
Yeah.
The dads are there. There's different degrees of usefulness. Some are great, some aren't.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. But whenever I turn up, it's remembering that they're the customer as well. And I've been there. I've organised my own children's parties. The whole thing is a stress the whole week before, an absolute blur. You're trying to do everything, most of which will go completely unnoticed and underappreciated. But it's like I've turned up at parties before and there's people arriving in the next 20 minutes and they've only just started to put the decorations up. So I've just gone, right, well, my kit's set up instantly anyway. I've got a really fast setup. I literally just open my case and off I
Yeah.
go. So I'm like, what can I do to help? Can I hang some banners up for you? Or she's struggling to unwrap cling film from
Yeah.
sandwich platters. So I'm like, let me do that. You go sort out over there. Or I don't know, there's another entertainer that's turned up that's asking, like, I had it once where a magician turned up and was asking all these questions. You could see she was like, I've got so much to do. I haven't got
Oh
time
my
to answer, like,
God.
sort of thing. And I was thinking, can't you just crack on, mate? You must have been to so
Yeah.
many different village halls in your time.
Would have
Just
done
get
all
what
that
you need,
beforehand
move
anyway.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. Move on.
I
Like, you
know.
don't want to be
I do
put
sort
in.
of feel like, yeah, I never want to cause extra stress. So my
Yeah.
plan is I turn up, you don't need to worry about me. I'm going to turn up when I say I did. I'm going to turn up and go, don't worry. I'm quite happy to sit in the corner. I don't want to get in the way of any party games. I'm just going to sit and do my thing. I'll go wherever you need me to. And then they're always like, right, what do you need from us? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you go do
Nothing.
you.
I
You go,
know.
you've got enough to do. You've got a host, you've got to greet people, you've got to try and make sure that your child's in here somewhere. And I think that's a whole other element of the actual business that's not just the behind the scenes admin, the painting the individual children's faces. It's making your attendance at their party as easy as possible for them.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of nice feedback from that of it
Yeah.
felt like there was another family member there, or it felt like she was just a friend at
Good.
the party as well.
Yeah.
And I think then that leads into the repeat custom, because I've got repeat
Yeah.
customers from that because they just know
Good.
that you're not a hindrance.
It's easy. Yeah, yeah. You're not gonna add anything more onto their plate as it is,
Yeah.
because it isn't easy setting up a party. And like, I walked into one the other day and I said, "Hello," and the mum was like, "Don't." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Look, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just set up over here and then I'm gonna help you after." "No, no, you don't need to." I went, "I do. I'll take it off you." She had a baby in arms as well, and I was just
Yeah.
like, "I understand." And then there are other parents that I walk into and it's all, I mean, one last week I walked in and they're all just sitting around. I walked in and it was deadly silence and they were all sitting on chairs because everything had been set up and was ready to go and they were just waiting for me and the kids. And I was like, "Oh, you're done." I mean, they did have quite a big family to help. So you just never know what you're going to walk into. My aim is not to add extra on. It's just about how you handle yourself and, yeah, not make it worse for them and coming across as somebody that's helpful, like you say, and not a hindrance. I'd always
Yeah.
offer, as long as I'm all right and set up and, good to go, I would always offer. I probably will never offer to pack away
Yeah, yeah.
because,
I'll draw the
yeah,
line there.
yeah, I'm a bit like, yeah, I'm
I'm a
good, goodbye
chipping.
now. Exactly. That's not
But
in my
yeah.
terms and conditions.
Yeah. Yeah. What business decision do you think has made the biggest difference over the last few years for you then?
I would say not growing in the way other people expected me to, which sounds really complicated. But what I mean by that was just before the pandemic, I'd attend like quite a few network groups or training groups or these action coaches and business things and all sorts of things. Because I'm always willing to learn more about business or how to grow, etc. What actually happened was I had a lot of chatter and people saying, if you want to grow, you need to build a team. Or if you want to grow, you need to up your prices. Or if you want to do this and you want to do that, you need a team. You need a team. And that actually stuck with me. And I was trying to run with that. I need a team. Let's build it up. Da, 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 da. And what happened was, I don't know, I was burning out with it. It was stressing me out and I wasn't enjoying my business.
Mm,
And so just after the pandemic, when things you were allowed to entertain again and face paint, I was still in that, oh, I need to grow, I need to grow, I need to grow. And something one day just clicked in me and just went, why am I listening to everybody else? Why am I listening to these experts and these coaches? And obviously they're there for a reason and they offer a great service and stuff. But as I'd taken my eyes off the ball, off my business plan and my marketing strategy and all the boring stuff. And I was like, why am I listening to other people? I don't want to grow. I want to grow in a sense of expand locations or, I have raised my prices, doing things that are right for me, but I don't want a team. And I
mm,
think I was made to feel inadequate because I didn't have a team. And then I don't know what it was. There wasn't a pinnacle moment, but there was a point where I was just like, yeah, no, I need to carry on as I was. And you are growing because obviously your prices have risen and therefore I'm making more profit and your margins and all the spiel. But that didn't make me any less of a business owner or being taken seriously or whatever it may be. So in answer to your question, it is not listening to other people. So unless you're paying like a regular basis for an actual individual coach that knows your business inside out and is helping you for the right reasons, I stopped listening to outsiders and did what the hell I wanted to, which is what I'm doing still. So I expanded the radius of where I would attend parties, but obviously to a point because you still want to squeeze in 1 to 2 parties a day, maybe 3 at a
mm.
push, which I've got this weekend. I've got 3. But luckily, one of them's 9 minutes from each other, and they're fully aware that I won't start the timer until I say go.
Yeah,
That's very rare that happens. So I expanded the radius and then I upped my prices, and that is my version of growing. And I'm okay with that. Who knows
yeah,
what it will be in another 10 years' time, but I think I thought there's probably a lot of psychology in that, but I think I just thought you're supposed to grow a team, you're going to be competing against the big boys. And when actually there's quite a lot of
mm,
single entertainers that I work with who are all doing the same thing as similar thing to me in their own way and don't have a team, don't, and they just work alone and they're okay with that. And so am I. So yeah, that's probably answer to your question.
well, it's very similar. So feel like I've said this a lot recently, but I'm still like figuring out which lane I'm going into. So this is still my first year as a face painter. And what's been great is hearing from all these different people in the industry and some people who love festivals and some people who like birthday parties and some people who like this, that, and
Yeah.
the other. And I'm working out which is going to be my lane because what I've learned about myself recently is I'm probably a bit too easily influenced by what everyone else is doing. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
could do that too. I want to
Yeah.
do that. That sounds like great fun. And I almost on a definitely a weekly, if not a daily basis, I'm saying, just carry on doing what you're doing for now. You've got time. And I don't have to be doing exactly what everyone else is doing to be growing or to be
Yeah.
successful. At the moment, what I'm doing now is working for me. I'm just dabbling, I'm working out my lane. Once I've
Yeah.
found my lane, I'm still going to tell myself, don't go hell for leather down it because I've still got 3 really young kids. And in
Yeah.
10 years' time, they're gonna be like 15, 16, and 18. They won't wanna hang out with me, but at the moment they do.
That's my kids.
So, yeah, so I've got time. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep dabbling, I'm gonna keep doing me for now, and then, yeah, when they're not so interested in me, then I can really throw myself into
I think
festivals if
that's
that's
a
what I wanna do or
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah,
but you
exactly.
kind of get swept up in what everyone else is doing and what you
Mm,
think
yeah.
success means to you.
Yeah, we have to remember that everyone's got different experiences of how they got to where they got to and different plans, different goals, different milestones, whatever it may be. But you're in a really good position of take it slow, even though we're probably still rushing a million miles an hour ahead, because I still
Decided to
do
start a
that.
podcast, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you just
Obviously,
throw
that's what I
another
need.
thing in there. Oh, yeah. I've set up, how many businesses have I set up? I think I set up 1, 2, well, 2 businesses, that I could potentially do really, really well and got time, and then I've got another 2 that I'm running at the same time at the moment. Like, and I'm always doing things. I'm always adding a new page to my website. Then I took that down a few weeks ago because I was like, why did I do that? And then, but everyone's, I just don't. But everyone is, yeah. If everyone stuck to their own lane as well, that would be amazing because it's so easy to fall into that trap. But your kids are young, and I don't remember mine being young because I was out every weekend. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. They're perfectly well and they're perfectly healthy, and they had a lot more time with their dad than they did with me, which I'm quite sad about. But I'm also the sort of person that when I first started face painting, I was looking at my local painters, and there was one person in particular that cropped up in every forum and every Facebook thing whenever I Googled face painting. And I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be at that
Mm,
level. And I was like, but the good thing about that is that the people around us are showing us that it is possible to achieve and get to that level if you want to get there. But you've got to take the slow path and not the quick one, which is what I'm always looking to do. And I want to be as
mm.
successful, as so and so down the road, in a few years' time. Like, I think they just show they paved the way for us to go and aim and achieve it, but you got to do it the slow way.
Yeah,
Because I think if you are skipping ahead and going in the fast lane, that's where you start making the mistakes and tripping up and burning out and all of that. That's something that I have to keep telling myself every day. And I try not to go on social media as much because that's where the comparisonitis kicks in and
yeah.
I'm getting
Well, I
left
think
behind.
I wouldn't even say it's doing the fast way or the slow way, it's doing whichever way suits your individual circumstances. So,
Yeah,
I have to remember that for me, my priority is the family, so I've got to slow down. But if I'd got into this game, like, 10 years ago, pre-kids, I'd be fast lane all the way because I would hyper focus. I would throw everything at
yeah.
it because I would have all that free time to throw everything at it. And of course, I wouldn't care
That's
if I was
interesting.
working 12 hours a day on a Saturday and Sunday because
Yeah,
that's what I'd wanna be doing, but that's not my priority now, so I'm gonna choose a different path, and I think
yeah.
and that doesn't make me better or worse, less or
No,
more than anybody else,
no,
because I just have to remember I'm doing what works for me, my little family, and my little house, 'cause
yeah,
that's my life, and that's what's yeah, I'm learning. I'm
yeah,
learning, and I'm trying to remember
yeah,
because I do the same, I get swept up. I'll talk to another face painter and be like, "I wanna be doing that,
yeah,
I wanna be doing that," and then I'm
yeah.
like, "Nope, nope, nope, I've got time. It's okay. There's time."
Yeah. I mean, you can get inspired by, others as long
Yeah.
as you remember where you're at and yeah, your priorities are different, your goals are different.
Mm,
And there was not one person in our industry doing exactly the same, even if it looks like that on the outside. The goals and the aims are all completely different, I hope,
mm.
anyway.
Yeah, no, I genuinely think they are. I think ultimately as well, we're all living our own lives. We've all got our own priorities. And what am I trying to say? You know, when you think no one else really cares what you're doing as much as you care.
Yeah, yeah. No one's watching.
So I need to
And
no one really gives a fig how I'm spending my day to
no,
day, and we only ever
no.
see snapshots of what each other are doing on social media.
Yeah.
I'm
It's not the
thinking
full
about it in
picture.
relation to someone said to me it sounds not very kind, but they said very kindly in the lead up to my wedding, "No one cares about this wedding as much as you do." And
Yeah.
we mean that in the kindest way because it sounds awful, but
Yeah.
the idea is like, we're coming to celebrate you and Robbie getting married because we love you both. We're not gonna notice all the detail. We're gonna notice some of the detail and other people will notice others, but nobody except for you is gonna be aware and care about all these little things, like,
Yeah. It's only what
in the
they
grand
see on the
scheme of things.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like a party, even I
yeah.
don't see what goes on the inside. I gave similar advice. I did a social media talk the other day in our industry, and it was all about showing up on camera. And I can do that. Like,
Mm,
I don't care on Instagram, on stories, reels, whatever it may be. And I said, if you're feeling unconfident about doing that, that's absolutely fine. But it was a similar thing. Nobody cares about the spots on your face or the bags under your eyes or that your hair's greasy that day as much as you care about it. No one, we don't go, well, I certainly don't go on Instagram stories and like, oh my God, look at her, look at him, look at
no.
the way he's talking or whatever. Like, we're really judgmental of ourselves. And it's a similar thing when it comes to, yeah,
In a nice way, we're all a bit self-obsessed because we notice it about ourselves. I don't
yeah,
notice that sort of thing about anyone else.
no.
I'm too busy looking at my own imperfections all
Yeah,
the time. So,
exactly.
yeah, no one cares about it as much as
No one
you.
cares
Ultimately, no one cares.
unless you're a
Mm,
child and you're looking in the mirror at your face paint.
yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened at one of your parties?
But it's not funny. Well, it wasn't at the time.
Right.
It's
Laughing
bad.
already.
It's actually quite bad. But I can laugh at it now because I have spoken about this on my social media before because it comes up. When I first started learning to be a magician, one of my tricks went terribly wrong and it was horrific. So it's a trick where you get 3 cups and you pour water in a cup and you're supposed to tip the cup upside down and nothing's supposed to come out. Ta-da! The water's gone. But I'd only been doing it a few weeks and I did it at a kid's party. But instead of pouring it on myself, I poured it over a kid. And not only did the water come out, but the special magic that is supposed to happen, the science experiment, also came out on top of this kid's head as well. And it wasn't the birthday child, but it was in someone's house. So I had made a complete and utter mess. And I just wanted the ground to open up. And it is really funny now, but it wasn't at the time because the mum came down on me like a yeah, like it was horrific. She was horrible. She was horrible, yeah. Like to a point where I sat at home for 2 weeks and I was like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like I'm not I'm not gonna entertain anymore. All I needed to do was just wait a little bit longer for the magic trick to work. But I hadn't waited that long. But she because of that, she also pulled me apart about other things. And they were really minor things, like I hit the wrong button on my iPod at the time and played a different song that I was supposed she I don't know how she knew that, and she said, "Oh, you called my friend sorry, you called my daughter by a different name, you pronounce it this way," and there was a lot of things. So, it's funny now because it is funny because you've just poured water and sludge over some kid's head. But at the time, it nearly closed my business. But the moral of the story, though, is learn from your mistakes because in those 2 weeks that I shut it down and cried my eyes out because I couldn't believe I'd done something so mortifying, that's probably the point where I went to go and train with an entertainer, a training academy thing. Because I was like, well, I need to know how to do this job without winging it. There's only so far you can take the
Yeah.
winging.
Fake it till you
And that's
make it till you
where yeah, and
get
don't do
sludge
any
on a
science
child's head.
experiments. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, lesson learned, and I haven't done the trick since. One of my entertainer
Really?
friends has done it though, yeah, and he's done it on Britain's Got Talent as well.
Yeah, the entertainer for my little girl's party did it. She, did it on my husband's head. She was like, "Where's mum?" And at the time I was sort of doing face painting, but I was just doing some little speed painting as people arrived. And one of my friends, God love her, went, "Mum's a bit busy hosting. Why don't you pick on dad?" And so
My
Robbie got
God.
wheeled out to do the cup on the head sort of thing. And
Yeah.
even he said, I stood there, I watched her pour water into this cup. And he said, and then she tipped it on my head. And I was like, if the joke is that I get water on my head, I'm going to be quite upset. But the trick worked. And he said, I've got no
Thank
idea how
God.
she did it.
Yeah.
But he said, but there was no water. And I didn't understand. He said, because I'd held the cup. I knew there was water in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when it
Yeah.
works, it works.
When
And
it works,
obviously, if
it's
it hadn't
incredible.
worked, it would have happened on a
Course.
parent, so
But
it wouldn't have
I also
upset
learned
anyone.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if I was ever gonna bring it back, I'd do it on me. Like,
Yeah.
I would just do it on me. It's just about timing, but it did put me off. But thank God it didn't put me off my business because I wouldn't be talking to you if it
Yeah.
did.
Exactly. And you've probably become more
Horrible.
resilient
Yeah. I grew a
afterwards, right?
backbone, that's for sure. Yeah. And I put terms and conditions in place and I put a complaint system in place, you know, and luckily I haven't had to use it, but it's there. So I learned a lot about all the paperwork and the procedures to put in place if, God forbid, things go wrong. So it did teach me a lot. And I have since seen those children at previous parties when they were little and they loved me and it was great. The mum, not so much. And she did slag me off all over social media, but she probably had a right to. Didn't put anyone off though. I'm still here. So it's fine.
What's one piece of advice that you wish someone had given you when you first started?
There's a lot. Well, basically what we've been talking about really, stay in your lane.
Mm.
It's so easy. And I've seen other people do it, face painters and entertainers. Um, slag me off to my customers. Like there was one incident where when someone tags you on Facebook, you know, and everybody like jumps on and you've all got tagged and all the other entertainers come on, all the other face painters come on. And I got booked, and then my customer that very evening messaged me. She said, "Oh, I've had this other face painter reach out and said, you're not very good, and all you care about is," her words were, "quantity over quality," and then that I should book her. And this other woman was a face painter and did bouncy castles. And I said, "Oh," I said, "well, that's not very nice." I was like, "What do you want to do about it?" She said, "Well, I'm sticking with you because I think it's rude that this face painter's said that to me." And I messaged this face painter who, by the way, her quality of work in our local area, I would say she's one of the best. Absolutely fantastic work. I'm not on a level with her, or still not, like, at all, right? And that's fine. But I messaged her and I said, "It's such a shame that you had to do that, because we tend to stick together in this industry and you haven't done that, and I won't be recommending you." And the customer didn't order a bouncy castle offer either. But the moral of the story is stay in your lane. So she's obviously been looking at me, maybe felt threatened. I don't know. That's the only reason I could think of that you do that. And your work is amazing and it speaks for itself. So why would you then come along and watch somebody like myself, who had been doing it a lot longer but still wasn't quite at that level, and proceed to do that because it's backfired on you?
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame, and I've had that more than once, which is unfortunate. But stay in your lane can mean so many things. So, yeah, don't slag other people off because it will backfire on you. But for me as well, I want to keep myself to myself. Although I do work with some amazing other suppliers, and I will always recommend other suppliers if it's correct for the customer, I also don't want to associate myself with mainly other face painters, as terrible as that sounds. And I'm all here for supporting. And I do have a very tiny group of face painters that I will recommend if I can't do a job, but that's it. It's basically keeping my cards close to my chest. So this is what I do. I am willing to teach and share it to other people, whatever you guys want me to do, but I will do it with a guard up, because it's not nice when you're on the receiving end of things. And it is, unfortunately, mostly face painters that I have had personal run-ins with for no reason. Not so much entertainers. I've got a really nice support group of entertainers, and some of us are doing a big festival together next week, and we're all very excited. I'm the only woman there, so that could be a little bit, but actually the men are probably more supportive than the women, which is good. But I do it with my eyes open. And so, yeah, the whole staying in your lane thing just applies to various different lanes.
Mm.
And if you ever lose what you're doing or forget, or, someone's told you to grow your business, so that's what you're going to do, come back, like, write your goal down. It doesn't have to be like a big business plan, but just write the goal that you have set yourself for 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, wherever it may be, and just come back to that and remember the reasons why you're doing it, because it's so easy to get lost in all the noise and information.
Right, let's wrap it up with a
Yeah,
quick fire round. So try
go
not to
for it.
overthink. Tea or
Okay,
coffee?
tea.
Early setup or last minute rush?
Last minute rush.
Me a little bit too. I want to be the early setup person, but I know my kit only takes literally less than 10 minutes to set up. So
Yeah,
I will
and
only
I
get there
get
15, 20 minutes early.
yeah, same. And I got a low boredom threshold, so if there's too long a gap, I start
Yeah.
to lose the will.
Yep. I'm also a bit time blind. As you can see, we've got 1 minute till pick up now. So
Okay, go
glitter
for it.
or gems?
Glitter,
Balloons or face paint?
face paint,
Magic show or mini disco?
mini disco.
Favorite party game?
I don't get to play it a lot, but musical chairs. There's got to be enough chairs. If there's not enough chairs, I don't get to play it, but I love it.
Biggest party you've ever entertained?
150 kids. No, I loved it.
You are built different, aren't you?
I know, bonkers.
One product that you couldn't work without.
Bubbles,
One word that describes children's parties.
glorious.
Okay, try finishing this sentence. A great party always.
Creates core memories.
Cute. Okay, right. Let's wrap it up there. We've both got to go do a school run before we get stuck into any more. But thank you so much
No,
for coming
thank
on.
you.
That's it for today's episode of Sponge Stories. If you found this helpful, or it made you think, oh, thank God it's not just me, I'd love for you to share it with another face painter who needs to hear it. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. There's plenty more real talk and a bit more waffle coming your way. And if you've got a story, a question, or you'd even like to come on the podcast, you can email me at hello@spongecommunity.co.uk or send us a DM over on Instagram, Sponge Stories.